Hey guys, we're gonna keep this nice and sweet, bringing back the old YouTube videos again. So shout out to BitBase for making this happen. I'll have some details on like some promotions that they're running at the moment in the caption below. But let's get into it. So yeah, Bitcoin's now trading within this 2024 bracket, and essentially everyone remembers this range over here, where we finally broke out in November. The catalyst was Trump coming into office. We built value above it for a good year, and then eventually, the market wasn't able to push higher. And through this compression, we actually have now seen acceptance back below into this VWAP structure from 2024. So why that's important is because anyone that knows auction market theory, essentially one of the key tenets is if the market is unable to find footing in where buyers and sellers both sort of see fair prices, so the POC or the VWAP in this instance, then there's a high chance that the market will then have to traverse to the other end of value to sort of complete the auction essentially. And like that would be in this instance 2024 around 50k and a half, depending on the chart or how you aggregate the settings. So that's just to showcase where we are broadly speaking on a yearly basis. And yeah, I'm not one of these doomers calling for, much lower prices from here, as I actually think the market is in, call it the 7th or 8th innings of bottoming out in terms of price and time. But at the same time, I want to be aware of my environment. And the fact is right now, while we use this 2024 VWAP to find our footing at the beginning of the year, where we eventually pushed into the 80k and then flushed back down, we're now sort of spending a long period of time compressing below it. Now, that doesn't mean we can't break above it, but I do have my sort of anchor here in the sand. I'd like to see Bitcoin push above here to show me a little bit more strength. Until then, I'm quite cautious, and I wouldn't be shocked to see all these lows taken and swept, and that leads us into the 50k area. Again, if we just look at Bitcoin historically from a positioning standpoint, we have this carrying capacity where it doesn't matter. When we reach this like 350k contract zone in market, and you can look at this historically, it often precedes pretty big moves, right? Here was a massive wipe. Again here, fairly sizable move came from this area here when we reached this many contracts. And again, we're quite elevated here, especially given how muted price action's been. So again, it just shows to be on your toes. Bringing it to this chart here, which is just measuring, the top chart, this pane here is just measuring Bitcoin's historical volatility index. So it's just measuring how Bitcoin's actually been moving day to day. And right now, BVOL is super low. So again, adding credence to my idea that, with elevated positioning in the market and sort of muted price action, we could be on the precipice of a pretty large move. The second pane also just adds a little more color to that. This is the ATR, which is the average true range of Bitcoin on the daily. And you can see that we're trading 1,200 a day, which is less than 2% move on a 64k asset. So we're certainly getting quite compressed here. Additionally here, this is the Bitcoin Volmex implied volatility 30-day index. And that's just looking at 30-day implied volatility. And that's also sitting near historical lows. You can look at this chart for yourself and see. So yeah, both realized and implied vol are calm. So full compression under the hood. Think of it like a coil compressing, coiling. One side's going to have to give as, positions ramp up, stops get set. And one side's going to give out. And that's where going into Opex, I believe Wednesday and Friday are the expirations. Adds also some importance to the week ahead. The S&P has also been quite muted, right? Like yes, we've made all-time highs, but we've been pinned, between 7,500 and 7,800 or so. And we're not really going anywhere. The Qs is, the Nasdaq's an even better look at it. Hasn't even made new all-time highs yet. So yeah, just to add to this, on Wednesday and Friday, these contracts are going to get unwound. And so, you know, these gamma levels, these gamma exposure levels basically have been keeping price sort of pinned in this very tight range. And once these contracts roll off, those pinning effects essentially unwind and they can drift more freely and the market can choose a direction. Just to add to that as well, you can see that the book depth in the ES minis futures isn't like terrible, but it's not like you know, thick by historical standards. And like this is only looking back a year, but if you go back to like 2025 as well, you can see like there isn't as much you know, order book depth in the market right now, which again just shows that in these conditions it won't take much to move price in either direction. And just to sort of recap that here, you can look at S&P 500 versus the VIX. But more importantly, if you look at the green line at the bottom there, that's the VVIX, which is the volatility of volatility, and that's flashing higher relative to everything else. And so this is telling me that traders are paying up for vol exposure. So yeah, you know, pair that with, you know, the S&P is pinned into Opex. There, everything seems pretty calm at the moment, but there is, you know, hidden tension underneath the surface. So we'll have to see how Opex, you know, how prices move, you know, once Opex ends this week. But leads me to believe that there could be some pretty big movements in the market, and my focus will be on Bitcoin. So gun to head, I think market's probably going to break down, but I'm not here to project my feelings. I'm just here to provide some context on why. And at the end of the day, we have all the ingredients to break upwards as well. So we'll just have to see whether Bitcoin can break through some key levels. That 2024 VWAP will be key for me. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a good week of trade and I hope you enjoyed this. And thanks again.